Poland has announced they are ready to host nuclear weapons on their borders as NATO and Russia head for a nuclear showdown. President Andrzej Duda said his country will take up nuclear arms if they are asked to by NATO as they look for somewhere to deploy weapons and respond to the latest chilling Putin threats. The tyrant and his Kremlin cronies started to reinforce their armory in Belarus and Kaliningrad recently, stocking up on their worrying warfare. Duda spoke at length in an interview on Monday, saying, "Russia is increasingly militarizing Kaliningrad. Recently, it has been relocating its nuclear weapons to Belarus. If our allies decide to deploy nuclear arms on our territory as part of nuclear sharing to reinforce NATO's eastern flank, we are ready to do so. I've already talked about it several times. I must admit that when asked about it, I declared our readiness." Poland sits in a crucial position in terms of the ongoing war in Ukraine, with the NATO nation sharing a border with Belarus and the Russian military playground of Kaliningrad. Ukraine has always been reassured they have Poland's full support if ever needed due to their position. Duda also revealed in the chat nuclear talks between Poland and the US have been ongoing for some time. He told the newspaper Fact that they would work with the US to navigate nuclear weapons if need be, and keep Russia from causing any more chaos in Europe. Moscow responded, warning the West they would take the necessary steps to ensure its security if Poland got a hold of any weapons. Belarus has long been an ally of the Kremlin and has happily helped Putin store his weaponry closer to Europe's powerhouses. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko has been happy to home nukes in his country as the US has been doing this for decades, said Putin last year. He said, "There is nothing unusual here either. Firstly, the United States has been doing this for decades. They have long deployed their tactical nuclear weapons on the territory of their allied countries. We agreed that we will do the same, without violating our obligations, I emphasize, without violating our international obligations on the non-proliferation of nuclear weapons. Russia has stationed 10 aircraft in Belarus capable of carrying tactical nuclear weapons, it has been said. The odds of an apocalyptic nuclear world war are now as low as 6-1 amid escalating tensions with Russia." In his most chilling WW3 threat yet, Putin, 71, declared that weapons like nukes exist in order to use them. In an interview with Russian state television last month, he emphasized Moscow is ready from a military technical point of view in the event of a perceived threat to national security. He said, "Weapons exist in order to use them. We have our own principles. We are ready to use weapons, including any weapons, including nuclear, if we are talking about the existence of the Russian state harming our sovereignty and independence." A chilling nuclear war simulator has also revealed how a Russian nuclear strike could trigger a global conflict, killing 35 million people in just a matter of hours. The model predicts a catastrophic war escalating from an initial Russian nuclear strike, which quickly draws in other powers. Known as Plan A, the 4-minute animation aims to highlight the horrific potential consequences of conflict between Russia and NATO countries, as all nations would fire strikes against one another. The model predicts that almost 35 million people would die within hours, many of those in the first 45 minutes, as a further 56 million would be injured, not including later deaths from nuclear fallout and other effects. The trigger-happy tyrant has even started talking about how he could deploy nukes in space. Just last year, Putin was thought to be readying a deadly 20,000 miles per hour meteorite hypersonic missile for combat.